There we go. Forgot to put my thing down. So, all right, I am back for yet another round, round four of updating the VCC debugger. So I drug my TV out again. Unfortunately, with doing this, I don't get to watch Ancient Aliens. I've got some little bit of free time, a little bit of free time, about an hour or two maybe, if I can kind of stretch it along. So I've got till about 4:30, 5 o'clock my time. Get some stuff done, and then I've got a few other things to take care of, and then I might actually be back tonight. So it depends on how it goes today. So anyway, I did find time a little bit of time after I got offline last night to kind of wind down and just do some general cleanup in the debugger. So one of the things that I did was I went back and I separated, made sure that uh, that I could update or let each of the debug windows when they are active or open, both know when there's an update um, and pass some data along to it, along with a reset. Um, and that way they can go ahead and clean up their own data, and that allowed me to move some of the stuff out of here that like CPU, like RAM states, RAM buffers, copies, and stuff like that, stuff that is really specific to that particular window rather than really kind of the debugger as a whole. So I wanted to kind of move those things out of there. So now I've got some callbacks, and this is uh, we've got our register, our client. We've you don't have to do an update, because some of the windows actually don't need an update, but they do need a reset, and some need update and don't need a reset, and some need both. So you have to provide at least one of those, otherwise it's going to go ahead and fail. But then it'll go ahead and add them, and then you can remove them um, from the list. And this really just when you get an update, it goes through, and if it does have any update clients, then it's going to go ahead and give them a call and let them know what's up with that and which window it belongs to. So you could actually have handle multiple windows with it. So although I don't see that as ever happening, but and I actually introduced a bug. And I had to go back and look real quick, because in this particular function right here, this get CPU control state with PC. This was taking the value in processor state. That was bad. And so that actually caused a problem. And technically this should be synced up with it, but it is only updated when there is a pending command from the uh, well, in this case from the UI. So there's no so these aren't necessarily going to be in sync. And I think that might actually cause some other problems later on, because this doesn't necessarily get updated. And if the CPU is halted, um, if this gets out of sync, there could be issues. Whether or not that could actually happen, I don't know yet, but it's certainly very, very suspect. So this is a still an area of concern, because I don't know if we want to have if the debugger actually needs to have a separate state for that other than the CPU, and whether or not those should be in sync. But so far, it seems like these should be in sync, or at the very least, just one of these, whether it's the CPU, one that's maintained by the CPU, one that's maintained by the debugger. Only one of them should actually be necessary in this point, and then the CPU control stuff. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be getting rid of some stuff like this execution mode. I'm actually going to change that up, uh, just as in a general sense, and that's actually going to kind of help us a little bit later on. And hopefully, with any luck, I'll be able to get rid of some of this. I don't necessarily know that this is needed. I think that it's something that can be done by the update function, because these updates are called within the context of the emulator thread versus the UI thread. So there, certainly some knowledge that has to be known there. But and I can change these to kind of pass any old data, so I may not need to actually keep a copy of these. And then of course we're going to be getting rid of break, because this is actually used. This is kind of just like a trigger state. It doesn't really actually do much, if anything, for the CPU or even the debugger itself. It's kind of used to trigger the update on the breakpoints. So we're actually going to kind of change that so we can get rid of this kind of logic. So then there'll be a few other things that I'm sure that I will throw in there. I don't think I'm gonna post this one to Facebook though. So anyway, since I don't have any viewers right now, I think I might grab me something to drink before I begin. Start getting into this and maybe talk about like how the performance or the profiling stuff works. Because I've been thinking about ways to expand that. So there's like a couple things that God damn it, my cigarettes keep on going out, man. It's like I'm ignoring them and they say, "Yo, fuck you." So, but I do really like the functionality of the debugger. But there's a few more things that I'd like to see that could be done asynchronously. Um, not and the stuff actually isn't quite there yet in the thing to even support that. But for things like the profiling, um, certainly you want uh, some locking going there, but you want to keep that to a minimum. Um, but there are other ways to do that where any suffering that is incurred is actually actually incurred uh, on the UI side. So I mean, places you typically aren't going to notice it or just really don't care. So of course reducing the amount of locks is going to be important. And there's actually some ways that can be done in some respects, particularly with the certain values. Like uh, they can be made to just atomic so that you don't get one core trampling on another. You're not really too worried about threading because your instructions are going to finish before you switch to the next thread, unless of course you got multiple cores, which most of us do, unless we're on a Cocoa. So let's see what I can start doing here. So we are going to, and this is actually going to require some other changes in the emulator stuff. So um, yeah, things like this, we're gonna separate this out here. So actually, let's start with that. Okay, so we've got our CPU control. So let's go down here, and we want the declaration as well. All right. All right. So we're gonna handle or we're gonna change this up. So I'm gonna move this up here. Set breakpoints, pongs, breakpoints. So we're going to leave it up to the debugger to decide when to propagate that information out to the CPU implementation. And the reason for that is that we actually know better when it needs to be updated. And if you look at this is where that break comes in. So if a break command is issued or is queued as kind of like the next command, then the breakpoints are set. And that's actually done only in one place. Let's see, and I changed these to Q, and that is right here in breakpoints. Now, the problem with this is that right after this happens, a UI event could happen in the processor control window that actually queues a step or a run and tramples all over that queued break because there's only um, uh, you only had one you can only queue one deep. So if you were already queued, then it replaced what was before. So you had a small problem with that. So this will actually help eliminate that as well. So I mean, in fact, when we do set breakpoints, this function right here is going to say, hey, it's going to set a flag, say, hey, we've got new breakpoints, and then it's going to propagate those down to the CPUs at the appropriate time. And that should help. So let's go back over to here. All right, so we've got CPU breakpoints, and let's do this. Let's go to control definition. Okay. Now we can do this. Oops. Oops. And set breakpoints. So we'll have to add something in for that. In fact, we can do that now. We go to let's do this. All right. So you know what? And if we go down to, we'll do this here. 6809. All right, so we got that. That ought to work. And 8. All right, so we've got set CPU breakpoints and then control and blah, 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 all of that. Oops. Yep, that I should probably pay attention to. That would be disastrous. That would be a really bad set of names. So we should get some unresolved link errors. And I still got a candy bar left from yesterday. I can't believe it. I did not eat them all. But it's the only one I've got, so I might just save that for later, or I might break down here and have it pretty soon. All right, blah, blah, blah. There we go. All right, so those. So we can just go to here. We're going to. Man, I'm going to have it rebuild the database or something here pretty soon. All right, so let's go to here. Copy this shit here. And we'll drop this one right up here for right now. All right. That'll allow us to get all of that out of there. And you know what? Let's do this. So this is the problem with having 2 instances of it, but it's okay. I'll get rid of that soon enough. All right, here we go. So at some point, I might move these into a kind of a global thing because I don't really see this scene being all that much of a point. Let's see, that's HD. All right. And for that, to support that, we need to go here. Oops, you know what? We don't have a underscore there. Changed. Has that changed? Nope. All right. So let's go to set breakpoints. And we'll go down here. And we're going to and CPU set breakpoints. Alrighty. Now, what to do with that? You know what? Actually, I'm going to leave that there for right now. So we should actually get this and this should both trigger off when we set a breakpoint, because that will cause that to change. Actually, let me get rid of some of this garbage. I got Windows open. Oh, wait a minute. Da-da. Maybe I will. I had to post this up on Facebook later on. So, da-da-da-da-da. All right, so we've got that. And yeah, we'll just leave that in there for right now. We don't really care. Oops, and it starts, of course, on my other. All right, so we got breakpoints. Let's load our print and spin, and we'll set a new breakpoint there. And boom. Okay, so that's changed. And yep, has a penny command. Of course it does. Let's see, what command is that? Break. Of course, that's what we expected it to be. Awesome. Okay, so we can put that up as a working, and we are going to do a quick commit. You know what? And I'll just pin the rest of the changes up to this. All right, so what am I doing here? Okay. Breakpoint. See, I did it again. Damn things. Change state of breakpoints. I think that should do it for now. So we've got yeah, set breakpoints. Yeah, okay. And that should allow us to do a couple things. Okay, so let's go back in here, and we are going to go into, so we can get rid of that now. We can get rid of that now. So we'll just kind of scoot that over there. We're going to go in here. We're going to get rid of break, because it just is not needed anymore. In fact, let's do this. Go to definition, get rid of that, and Q break. Okay. So of course, as we know, these two pieces of code are the same. So, but, see, it's not just so much that each one has this, but they are changed. So this will, check for, being halted or step or whatever, but it'll also change it. But I think that this only changes it to halt. So we can kind of facilitate that that functionality within the debugger. That should not be a problem. So we should be able to like check is stepping, is and halt, and make it a little bit cleaner for some of this, and actually move this right here into the debugger itself. That way, it's that kind of state, everything revolves around that particular debugger, and like it probably should. So let's see, what do I want to do here? Okay, so we got that out. Breakpoints, don't need that anymore. Move is still needed. Oh yeah, I do want to check that out. Da, 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 da. My music is going. Yes. Oh, Q break. Oh, right. Huh. Yes, I know it failed. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, let's make sure that this is. Now, so I'm not really sure how I want to do this execution order. In fact, I do believe I want this ahead of that. So if there are any changes to the breakpoints, those are going to be passed out before the update function. So if there's anything that it needs to do in regards to the breakpoints, then it can. Um, but anyway, so there's actually some things that I do want to add and enhance to the overall debugging kind of experience itself. And one of those is to load the last like listing file or whatever. But I'd also kind of like to have it do the um, link to like project files like Visual Studio Code. You've got a project file that lists your directory so that you can kind of go through code in there and kind of map that from the from the listing file. So you've got a couple of different views on it. But one of the things I've got to do is I'm going to update Chasm to update kind of an LWASM compatible kind of listing. But I'm also going to do one that that adds a little bit so that it does have links back to that original code and that it can do things like collapse macros. So that's going to be a fun one to do because I'd like to be able to, and of course like stepping over something like you jump to a vector call like like I've got this console right jumps to print a character. You want to um, update that. Oh, well, I just what the you want to be able to step over the that particular code while it goes out, and have it returned. So there's not really exactly sure how I'm going to do that. Um, but the big one, and one of the bigger, reasons for this is, and this is a actually much larger thing that's going to actually take a while, even though I do have some code to help support it, is a built-in disassembler. It's one thing to have, code that is from a listing file, so you can kind of associate that with with what you're working on, but that doesn't actually really disassemble it. All it really does is say, okay, I'm halted or broken at this address, and I know that it's in the in the code, so we're going to go ahead and just display that portion of the code. Unfortunately, it doesn't. There are instances where that kind of fails, and they're really corner cases. Like you use some tricks like LDX to kind of skip over some bytes, but then you jump right into the middle of it. And the basic ROM actually does that. Um, I think it's you see it in like Disk Basic and stuff. So there's like little tricks like that where it's in between like instructions that are listed on the or in the listing file that it can associate with, but it doesn't go in and find what should be like in between it. So that's certainly one thing that I want to take a look at adding, and that step over is certainly important. And I think there's actually a couple of easy ways that I might be able to actually get that in there. Depends on what I get done in regards to some of this. So we'll see. I mean, but it's and I lost my lighter. There it is. Go grab my lighter because I do have something to drink, and I'm probably going to have this thing here pretty short, or my candy bar here shortly. All right, man, my favorite song from the '80s. You're the best. All right, so let's get back to see. I've got okay, so breakpoints changed. We've got that up there, and I'm going to just go ahead and commit that right now. Okay, and we will test this here in a minute. Okay, Q break is gone. If breaks, that's good. Got rid of the break. I mean, I guess we could probably go back in and change halt to break. I don't know. I halt just seems, I don't know, such like a dick thing to say. Halt, you bastard. All right, and we got that. So we'll just append that to there. and we're good to go. All right, so let's go back. Yeah, queue halt. So these right here are just from the for the UI. So I'll address that later. But let's all right, let's get rid of this. All right. All right. So we've got is halted. So there's going to be a separate little piece here that kind of attaches to the debugger for the CPU that's going to have some of this in it. So I'll get to that in a minute. So it's the CPU halted. Yeah, this is a terrible comment. This is one of this is a good example of how not to comment your code. Because, and the reason for this, I mean, CPU is in halted state. I can tell that by reading the code. I think even with that, is CPU exception one, is it halted? So, but why are you doing it? I mean, if the reason is obvious, then you don't really need a comment, or you could comment these a few lines to say what's kind of going on. But yeah, this is tell me what you're doing, man. Tell me what is the side effect of it. How does this affect anything else in the program, or does it expect something else to happen from the program if there's like something special? Otherwise, hey, it is halted, return 0. Okay, and we've got this. Okay, so these are going to be separate. We're not going to be messing with that much at the moment. So let's go to here. Is halted. And halt. Now, what's the difference here? Is because I don't care about this detail. I don't care about this detail at all. So, give me ass. There you go. That's a great. That right there is a great way to start a label. Give me that ass, motherfucker. All right, so we got that. We're good there. Have enough. All right, so that's a better encapsulation of the state. So now we've got to deal with these two. So I'm gonna try something here in a minute. So let's do this. I want to just see how tightly tied that shit, together that shit is. All right, so renamed. All right, so I'm going to try this. Let's get rid of that. See, because the one of the things that really kind of stood out here was in this particular. This is really similar still to what was happening before, with the exception of this, which is actually just the code that was there before. But this right here always kind of bugged me because first this just doesn't really seem like it's going to be in sync, and even if it is, it's actually behind whatever the state was there. So that one set, so that one call that comes to here into is halted from Cocoa 3. Oops. Yeah, right here. Should that be the state of that the debugger is in, or the state of the CPU? So we're gonna try something here. We're gonna get rid of this because this is always going to be that's always going to be filled in on that. You know what? Actually, make sure that is in a default state. Otherwise, we might get a hiccup. See, so we're going to take care of that. Debugger. See, and the thing is that this control here um, changes the mode, whatever state mode or whatever it is. I'm not sure what I'm gonna call it. After this has been retrieved, so the state that is in here is not necessarily, oops, the same as this. So I'm not sure if that is actually if that type of flow is necessary for everything to work, but it does seem a little odd to me. So you know what? I'm just going to do this. Control state equals to kind of keep that up to date, just for shits and giggles. Because if this eliminates that, then I think we're in a pretty good state as far as that goes. Um, and at that point, it's just a matter of adding, some control, exposing some control within the debugger to say, halt this or um, step this or whatever, so that state changes. Okay, so where did the error come from? Okay, yeah, I'm not seeing a error here. Where the hell is it buried? Oh, duh. Is halted. Oh, duh. No, I was going to need to change that one. Yeah, there needs to be a kind of a common CPU state that's shared, because there's some stuff in there that's just duplicated that probably shouldn't be. Okay, so we got that. Let us go into here. And the big problem with this was actually seemed to be in the in with the debugger. Okay, so we started up just fine. Let's go to breakpoints, and we're actually gonna let me move this around here. We're gonna go to console right. Okay, so we got our breakpoint in there. All right. So you can see right here where I'm jumping to an ADS, so it'll do this. Let's see, and our debugger. Let's go to our processor state. So yeah, we need to have a halt, run, and step on the breakpoints window as well. So I'll look into to doing that, maybe down here at the bottom or something. Um, So, and really, I mean, these windows could certainly be integrated, although I don't know what, but at the very least, it needs a halt, run, or at least a step. Um, Step and run, maybe not halt, because you're already there, but have some control over here. All right, so we've got that. We want to step. All right, and we're moving everything up, so that looks like a success. Okay, yeah, then we've got this. You know what? Let's do a breakpoint there and run. Okay, and there we are. Okay, and it printed a character. Oh my God. So we can do this. run doesn't seem to work anymore. Okay, so we have broken something. Sort of. That is so odd. Well, let's see what's going on here. Let's see. Oh, debugger already in there. Duh, I'm looking for it. Okay, so we've got our updates and callbacks. Spinning command, run. Okay, that's halt. And it's run. Hmm. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem, really. Now let's see where we are as halt. Okay. Well then, you know what? Let's just get rid of this. Give it that, probably needs a little bit of a kickstart, so we may not need to change anything here, which is a little, odd, but I guess we can work around it. Breakpoints, browse, print and spin. All right, so we got this. Do our new breakpoint there. We're actually going to come down here and set a new breakpoint there. And we will load. All right. And let's get our processor state out here. Run. Yeah, see, that doesn't do it either. Hmm. Stab works, but run doesn't. Doesn't seem to work if it's at a breakpoint. Okay. I wonder if that's something that I already broke. Stash that. All right. And let's just do a full rebuild, huh? Why don't we? Let's see, we got, what is this, black eyed peas? Oh, yeah. Let's go on to 50 cent. Don't seem to hear much from 50 cent much anymore. Somebody said they saw him working at the dollar store, though. All right, let's see if we hadn't already screwed this up. Because if I did screw this up, I'm going to have to go back and see where I screwed it up at and what change actually borked it up. So let's, oh, right. We can get rid of those for right now. We'll move this on over here. Oops, don't want that one. At least the memory, at least that one works. So yeah, I want to be able to set it up so like these, it like remembers the window position and stuff, and then opens the windows at startup. I mean, that would be really useful for me. All right, so we're just gonna do this. New breakpoint. Yeah, see, that doesn't do it there either. So I did it, so I did that. Alrighty, well, isn't that special? So let's do this. You get to see me find out where I screwed something up. This is the great thing about having, source control. Let's do this back. Let's see. Okay. Uh, Let's go back here where I fixed this problem. See, now my code is back to what it was here. So I just go over here and build it again. And then I'll run it the same thing and see if I get the, same result. And if I do, then, that is, let me get some different music up here. Ooh, Birdman posted. The Amaranth fan meetup was insane. Yeah, probably a bunch of people in a bunch of costumes. It's totally insane. Oops, I hit F5 on the wrong window. All right, so we do this again. Breakpoints. I may have to have this just like, add some patch code in there to auto load it. So I'd also like to save the breakpoints too. I mean, that would be nice. Save and load of that. So I've got some stuff for reading and writing, JSON and XML and all that good shit. So I'll see about doing something like that because you want to you save all your breakpoints or you save it as a project or whatever, and it saves out your what list file you're loading and all of the breakpoints that you've got for it, their state and all that other good stuff, and then you load it and verify it, and, because things will certainly change. I mean, you can go on and say, hey, this breakpoint is on this line, and this line has this label, or it has this instruction, so you can kind of search for it if it moves. Um, Position is that it often will. But that's one of the reasons why I'd like to be able to associate stuff like within the file to an assembly language source file because I'd really like to get GDB uh, client um, up in that motherfucker so that I can load in the GDB extension into Visual Code and do all of this stuff that I'm doing here within that window or within the IDE. Okay, so we got that. Processor state, run. Yes, I broke that before. So I must have done that like maybe yesterday. All right, so let's go. Okay, reordered execution steps. All right, let's do this. We'll switch to that one. So I think that one worked um, fairly well. Yeah, you can see how all the update stuff changed. I mean, this stuff right here where it got the filled up the watch RAM and got the MMU state and all of that. All of that stuff's been moved into the window itself. Um, so since they're executed from the emulator thread uh, within those updates, they just lock their own data, blah blah blah, and they take care of all that shit themselves. Debugger doesn't care. Debugger doesn't care anymore. All right, so let's do this and repeat. This is why I like having candy bars handy. All right, so we got that, and we're gonna do new breakpoint there. Yeah, save it. Man, I must have busted that up a while ago. It's broken in that one. Okay, so, wow. Alrighty, so let's take a look at this. Okay, so this was, this changed here. No, let's see. Well, let's go to, I guess we go all the way back to here, but damn. How far back did I break that and not figure it out? Don't want to create a new branch. I don't know who the hell. Huh. Yeah, I don't want to be doing that. Whoa. All right, so we're gonna go all the way back to here. Change the watch image buffer from naked pointer to stud array. So the shit should be working here, and we know that it was not working up here. So somewhere in between this motherfucker, it should be broken. Yeah, we got to reload all on that one. Yeah, I've got to fix this. I've got to change this over to use some Windows stuff because this shit deprecated. I don't know why. Guess people just found it too annoying. But oh, as of C++17, it's wow. First it gave me an error and then it built. See, I hate that shit. That I got to go through it and scrub this project file and see what's causing that to happen. Maybe it's all the switching. Maybe I should just go ahead and delete the database and have it rebuilt. Yep, there we go. System state is not. Oh, right. We'll just do this. I don't think this is going to be any better, but we'll see. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I got Eddie Murphy Party all the time up there playing. I should actually switch over to the um, alter ego or the ancient aliens. Okay, we got processor state and breakpoints. Now this should frickin' work. If it doesn't, I'm gonna go all the way back to the beginning. Okay, I'll do another breakpoint here. Yeah, see, it's not happening there either. So maybe that is. Well, let's go back to here. Let's go back to the beginning, because yeah, I totally. I mean, and maybe I didn't group up something. Who knows? Commit. I mean, because if that's like the default behavior, then I haven't bound anything up, and I can fix it. All right, say merge. Okay, this is when I merged everything in from 2.107. So this is going to require a reload. You know what? I am going to do this. Let's get rid of that. Oh yeah, see, I got. Boom. Get rid of that shit right away. All right, now let's go down here. All right. Now it's gonna go through and rebuild that whole database. So hopefully shit'll be correct now. Let's see. You know what? Let's oh, that's right. There's no I haven't done anything. So let's do this. Rebuild solution. Wait a minute. Yeah. Wait a minute. Fuck. I forgot. I can't build this with 2019 because of the okay, these should not be changing any logic. So we're gonna move up a few. Remove use of namespace, cleaned up that. Yeah, because of the dependency on um, MFC, uh, can't build this on 2019 without installing some extra stuff that really not even gonna. Um, and I get it. You know, there's the support for. Well, no, okay, I don't get the dependency on MFC because we don't actually use it. Well, up until the debugger. The debugger uses some stuff in MFC, um, but I've actually taken that out. But yeah, before that, I don't know why it was dependent on MFC. I mean, it was just definitions that were pulled into the header, which are actually standard definitions from Windows. So that and as far as I know, there's no actual code that really depends on MFC. I think in fact, I think the only thing that I had to do above my original patches to the or updates changes to the project files was having it enable the or load the rich edit DLL because that's the only thing that it called was um, to load that and initialize that. But that's easy. So that was that. And so okay, so we got this, and we're gonna do new breakpoint, and the new breakpoint there, and then we're going to load main again. And it's still not working. Yeah, you can see we're at the formatting problem there with the breakpoint number. So yeah, none of the changes that I did here would have affected that. So that was just the warnings. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I changed was formatting things, so I would have, I mean, unless there's something in there throwing like an exception or something, but that wouldn't change the. Well, that's going to be a problem. All right, let's go back up to here. All right, so we are back up to here, and let's go pop our original changes. And we've got to reload this. I'm going to have to check that out. You know what, I'm going to go ahead and have it rebuild the database again. I'm going to have to check out the main distro and see if it does the same thing. Then we'll know. In fact, I might get that. I'll do that offline. I'm not too worried about that. All right, so we got our source, we got our debugger. All right, so I don't know if I'm going to get around to fixing that bug though. However, stash pop. Yes, let's take a look at these changes real quick. Okay, well, let's do a quick test. Because at the very least, I know that if I did actually happen to bork something up, that it is in those first few commits. So after merging that stuff in, so I can go back and review those. It's a lot of noise because of the string formatting and stuff that I had to put in, um, but yeah, I can't imagine for the life of me what in those changes um, would have caused that. So yeah, I may have to download that here while that's going. All right, so we've got that built. Let's go ahead and look at this. Um, breakpoints, browse. All right, so we got that. And what do we want to do here with this? Okay, so we've got, so we're going to set a breakpoint there. We're going to set a breakpoint there. So let's do, oh man, load man. Yeah, see, stuff coming in seems to be a little slower on this, which I don't think for what's going on, it should be though. Um, all right, so we're gonna go here. All right, so we stop on that and can't run, but we can step to the next one and run. And we're seeing stuff out there. So we know that, so now if we click run on a line that has a breakpoint, then it doesn't seem to want to work. So I need to go back, I will go back and find out where that is. Something, something dark side. Because the only changes that I made up in that earlier stuff was that. So I mean, it certainly could be a difference in compilers. Um, I don't know what was used to build the distro. Something, something dark side and dot. So A is 0. So now we're going to go to our last one. Yeah, see, I can't run from that. So we step, and then we go to there. Step, halt, run. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and check that out because I mean I have no problem fixing it. It's just I'd like to makes it a little hard to determine whether or not what I'm doing is actually right. So you know what? I'm gonna head over to the GC or to the VCC page and download that distro. I don't normally run the normal stuff. All right, so issues, projects, actions, code, projects usually. No open projects. Huh. Okay, so where is let's check the README. No. All right. Well, I know that there was a notice on this. All right. So let's see this where it's going. Okay, releases. There we go. Okay. 2.107 emulation. We'll just download the zip. Zip is not common. Let's see. This file.zip is not commonly downloaded and may be dangerous. Keep. Honestly, I know what the fuck a zip file is. All right. So now we got this. All right. So we got all the stuff here. So let's find a directory to put it in. In fact, let's release. And all right, so VCC run anyway. Okay, insert main. All right, so breakpoints, browse, and we'll do the same thing. New breakpoint here. Oops, nope, I don't want to do that. I want breakpoint there and breakpoint there. So let's do main. Oh, and we want our processor control window. So, all right, so it's gone there. Yep, that does not work on the distro either. That's a bug. All right, so I'll have to fix that. That's no problem, but at least I know that that is the original behavior. Um, so we can step on it and run, step on it and run. It does, yeah, the same thing that we did in our build. Okay, so that's just a bug. That's cool. At least I know. So I think that means that I can go ahead and get rid of this. I mean, everything seems to be working just fine. So we will do, um, go back into a debugger. Oh, damn it. And debugger. All right, so we've removed. Okay, we got breakpoints, processor state. That's it. All right, so we've reduced it down to this, but let's let's go back into here. This was what I was concerned about. So if you remember, this was this goes out and gets a CPU state, including filling in the control state, which was basically identical to the execution mode that we just got rid of. Um, so this was happening, and then there was this update, and then this control change here. Nothing is really dependent on this kind of stuff in here. Um, and this execution order, I'm not really sure if I want to do this before or after, doing these callbacks. I'm going to check the callbacks. Now, if the callbacks currently don't depend on that, then fuck it. I'm going to go ahead and do those callbacks last. But this is actually going to help us reduce some of the stuff because the CPUs are kind of hogging all the limelight with functionality that they don't need to. So we're going to go ahead and do that same test again, and we're going to because this doesn't really this control state here doesn't affect any of the other windows except for breakpoint and it affects the general execution of flow. So that being in sync because and the problem was is that this was only the local copy was only getting updated whenever there was a command pending. So you never knew which one you were, kind of expecting to do. So it would, kind of change this if that command was pending, but not always. So the big problem is going to be, where is it? Right here. Let's see if we can't find it. Oops, I think I already passed it. Yeah, right here is halted. So that kind of depended on that. But so far I think it's been working just fine. So that I thought might have been causing that run not to take effect. So we'll go in and we'll find out why that is happening and see what is getting that hung up. I have a feeling it's the some of the code that we're actually going to be working in today. So we'll reproduce one of our tests here, and we are going to go, let's see, you know what, breakpoint here, and new breakpoint here, and you know what, we are going to do a breakpoint here, just for shits and giggles. All right, so, and this is the problem with them being dialogues, is I can't, they're always on top. All right, I guess I could take that off. Okay, so we've hit our first breakpoint, and okay, we can't run, but we can step, and then that's going to run, and then step, and run. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this out of there. Oops, don't want to do that. New breakpoint. We want this one. We're going to remove that. Okay. So we're up to there, but we still can't run, but we can step and run. Still can't run from that, but we can kind of step. And if we, let's see, remove that breakpoint and go run. See, the problem is that that line is in a breakpoint. So I have a feeling what's happening is that when it enters the CPU exec function, it doesn't know that it needs to move forward. So we may have to do a little bit of surgery. Okay, so we've got that, and then we can go ahead and halt and run. That's fine. Halt and run. But when we're at a breakpoint, we hit run. We want that sucker to run, and we want to skip that breakpoint. So that's something I'm going to have to address at some point. I don't know when. Okay, so we know that doing that and updating the control state, I guess, is okay. So that's great because one of the things that I want to do is get it the fuck on out of there. I don't want it being part of the necessarily of the CPU state. I mean, I think anything dealing with like halt should really come from like its halt line, that kind of thing. I don't necessarily know that the debugger, because typically a debugger would be mostly instruction based. So you wouldn't have that kind of built-in CPU controls unless you were like running an ICE, but that's a whole different ball game. Whole different ball game for this, for what we're doing. So let's add this. Okay, let me get rid of that. That's download. I'll go in and check that out thoroughly. So I do like to test against the original. So, but and that's just a minor thing that kind of comes into the because I'll need the same kind of behavior with the profiling, which is something that is going to be interesting. So the way that the profiling works right now is that I've got some custom instructions that do a couple things. One is that they reset the cycles, the cycle count, and then at the end of it, it goes ahead and it um, uh, says, okay, store this, and then that triggers off some other stuff that says, okay, this particular piece of code is running this. Now, a lot of what I've got is, and the reason why I haven't submitted this into VCC into the mainline branch yet is that it's still kind of hard coded a lot for Kumiko and the tests that I was running on that. I mean, that was really what I developed it for. But there are some things that I would like to merge in, and I think having the debugger in there, it makes a great companion. Um, so removed. Let's see, what was it? Uh, from debugger, and then I also did I rename that yet? No, I renamed that last one. Okay, so we got that. That's good. I guess I could probably. What was that last commit? Yeah, we can kind of combine that. All right. So, but yeah, with those instructions, you want to be able to like to specify um, uh, something associated with it, so that kind of what you're doing. But with this, you've got all of the addresses loaded in from the list file. So it's kind of like, that's kind of like your debugger file. You've got all this information in there. So you can actually place or add special handling to a couple of different functions. JSR, BSR, RTS, um, and then of course you want to have like some special considerations for doing it. Now, every time one of those is called, it's tracked, and it's tracked with the current number of executed cycles. So when you do a return and you go back to the whatever the next address is, you kind of get that. Now, granted, doing some of that shit in assembly the way that some things happen is um, difficult, but not impossible. And you've and I mean, if you're debugging, if you're profiling, you're going to be on a. I would hope that you're on a better PC, so because it is going to be a bit uh, you know CPU intensive to kind of match some of that stuff up. But um, then you can actually do a tree. You can say, okay, well, I'm executing this function. Well, this function takes like 5% longer than what I thought it would. So then I'm going to dig down in and find out what portion of it is doing that. Um, certainly, certainly a little ambitious, I guess. But a lot of the stuff is pretty easy to manage, and it's just looking up data really. So so what do we want to do now? So now I need to look at this, and yeah, I look at the 6309 first because that is the mode I think I've got enabled. Um, so anyway, these they're not just changed. See, that's the thing here. I mean, this just I could easily copy and paste this into the debugger, have this function call it, and then just have this code sit right down here. Would not be a problem, except for this. So no, I'm really like curious or kind of torn on whether I want to grab the CPU state um, here, or if I actually want to have it passed to the exec function. Um, but even more so, it changes it to halt. And that's good because all it changes it to is halt. So we can actually kind of, make this a little bit cleaner. Like this is halted if we move that kind of stuff in here. Remember that I'm pretty sure that by the time this is called, I'd have to go in and check to see where the debugger is updated versus this is called. Um, but the value in the debugger, even though it's actually coming from the CPU at the moment, but the value that is stored in that debugger state should actually be this right here. So we'll change this to check in the debugger. So instead of here, just be the debugger, is this halted and all of that. So actually, I should probably check that out and see when this is. Okay, that's going to be in VCC, and that's called by CPU exec, and that's in a lot of different places. But wow, yeah, it is in a lot of different places. Okay, so CPU cycle. So when is the debugger updated? Oh, whoops, update. I did updated. Update. There we go. Okay, and this is in Cocoa 3. Okay, so that's after render frame. All right, I guess what I will do is this, and then this. And whichever one gets executed first. Okay, exec is executed first. Awesome. Okay, so it does this multiple times, which can change the state of it. And then when it gets all done with that, then it calls the debugger update. Okay, well, its default state is to run, so that's good. Um, oh, I'd feel far more comfortable with this if the update happened first. But I really don't see any reason why it shouldn't. What changes have I done so far, if any? I don't remember making. Yeah, I haven't made any yet, so. Hmm. Well, now. So I think one of the biggest things with the debugger, at least for me, is that I've got when you have interrupts, it's like a multi-threaded application, man. You start stepping and boom, you're in that interrupt handler, just like out of the blue, man. Not even expecting it. All right, so I don't know that there is actually anything wrong with doing this first. Yeah, I don't really know that it would have that much of an effect on it. I mean, if it's going to halt, it's just going to halt on the next frame, and that's fine. But hmm, oops. Yeah, so we already know the execution order of that, so I can get rid of that. But we are curious as to, I mean, it's still running. No hiccups, so processor state. Yeah, that's still running. And we'll go to our breakpoints. Let's do some breakpoint stuff. Got some, we'll do it right there. Dun, 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 dun. All right. So we got a breakpoint, and we're going to step that puppy. Run, step, run. Okay, we're still getting some good stuff in there. It's responsive. I mean, and these two windows are really what's at play here. So I mean, nothing else really cares about it. Um, but with the way that that is updated, and these updates here, that's fine actually. We can go ahead and keep that at the end. The reason why I say keep it at the end is because when we do that, I don't know what the sync is here because after all of these things have been done, there's modifications that have been done, and then it does this update after the thing. So that might need to get to get split up just so that the debugger handles updates a little bit differently. Um, And that's not a problem. And I don't think that that's actually going to cause any problem with us right here, changing the or moving these this value into it. So let's try a couple things here. All right, so we're gonna do control state. Okay. All right, so that's gonna put it one behind though. Hmm. Well, bummer. Hmm. Hmm. Well, this is gonna be a kind of a long change actually. Long one. So I think I'm gonna have a candy bar and get a little lube before I do it. So this will go away. So this will be a nice change. Get that out of there. Uh, so we will start, just to be a little safe here. This will give us a little chance to better play around with some stuff. Is to kind of move that variable into the debugger itself. So like just like the one that we just removed, except this one is going to be for a different purpose. Although it shouldn't make much of a difference with the change that we made earlier. Um, but it's what we're going to be doing anyway. So I know it seems a little odd to get rid of that one, but that was something different because that is related to these. We're going to do, so now is halted. Well, it's going to come from the same value anyway, it doesn't matter. All right, so I don't want it a static, but control state. All right, so we start off with a run, DMC, and let's give that. So this is why. So we're going to take this. Now we're going to move it into debugger. And what are we going to call this? Process command, sort of. And I really got to pick a better name for that. All right, so we're going to get rid of that. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I should probably get rid of that shit over here too. I'm going to be getting rid of the whole damn function. What do I care? All right, so debugger. And we're going to push this down here. And we want to do this. And da-da-da. So, and actually, you know what? We're just going to return this. And we're going to return this. And we are going to return this. And let's get rid of this, because we are not out there anymore. All right. There we go. Ain't that pretty? All right. Okay, so that's good. That's good. That's good. All right. So we want to do this declaration. Get rid of that. All right. And you know what? That's going to go away. So we'll get rid of that. And we want to get rid of this. Oops. We want this. All right. So you know what? This is just going to, oops, I accidentally hit build. All right. So we've got halt, but we've already got a debugger halted stuff, so we're good there. Is if not step. That could be a problem with changing it back over to halt. Okay, yeah, I think that's going to be where I think this right here looks like it's snagging up is what's snagging up the run command. So let's do this. Me state debugger is halted. Easy enough, and we need is stepping. Okay, is stepping there, and we will want to add a halt command. So let's go over here to our debugger. This is just gonna blow shit up, I know it is. All right, bool is stepping, and we want to do halt. Cool. Let's go to here. Oops. And we want CPU control state. Oops. Is stepping. All right, so we've got that. We've got that. Because how I set that may be different in the future. And see this right here, I can actually make atomic and get rid of the lock section on there much faster, much faster. And we can actually just do this. All right, so we've got halt is halted, is stepping. Yeah, some of this is I'm gonna have to double check the ordering on some of this. Coco 3. And all right. Is stepping. All right, so if it's not stepping and the breakpoints are not empty, then halt. And it finds one, halt, return cycles. Okay, and if is stepping, then we halt. See now, I will have to do this to the 6309 one or the 6809 one, of course, if I don't have to do it already. Because ooh, I buggered something up. Oh, right. CPU. Yeah, I'm afraid this is going to bork up the debugger. I really am. But you know what? Actually, it shouldn't matter. It should not matter now. So awesome. So it really shouldn't need this right here much anymore. Um, it should, or the breakpoints. So not really sure what I'm gonna do with that. And we've got oh, CPU control state equals. Alrighty. Oh, right. Let's go raw declaration. Get rid of that. Definition. Get rid of that too. Because that shit ain't needed no more. And of course, fixing up the 6809 or the 69 executor should be just as easy. Oh, I still got a fucking error? I'm just forgetting shit all over the place today. Oh, right. Doesn't need that anymore because, that doesn't even exist. No, that's the 6809 one. Oh, so that shit still exists. That's all right. We're not doing 6809 yet. That will come next. Alrighty. Oh, I want debugging mode. And it's going to come up on my other screen as always. Breakpoints. And we're going to do this. New breakpoint. And let's move this over there and get the processor state. I should probably put this in a ROM. Probably be easier. All right, so step works. Cool. And run works back to that, and run works back to that. So let's get rid of, remove that, and run. Okay, that's cool. Stuff is still stepping. And we've got our nice little thing down there. We can go there. We can still halt. You know what? Let's do this. Yeah, still doesn't work. I betcha. Let's do this. Oh no, that's not what's boning us up. Hmm. Okay, so the debugger is in a run state. Well, let's. Ah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go and look at that because I think what's happening is that it catches that it's still at the same address and it picks up on that breakpoint. It says, nope, I'm not gonna run because this is a breakpoint. Just doesn't go on to the next instruction, so to speak. So we'll have to take a look at that. But everything this seems to be working just fine. Where did it go? Okay, actually let's get the breakpoint out of there. And okay, so the stepping is halted. So that's a little bit more manageable, I think. With the within the executor because it's a lot less code. Although, I mean, I think all of this is uh, could be templatized at the very least. So yeah, I could reduce this pretty easily. I'll have to take a look at what the 1609 stuff does. In fact, let's head on over there, and we're going to do the same thing to this. Okay, that's done. We don't need that anymore. So let's get rid of that. And we know that we have to do this. As halted. Oops, what is not stepping? Make sure that did I leave that check for that? Yeah, not empty. So, and then we do this halt. I think that's it. Okay. Oh wow, there's an extra thing down here. Oh right, illegal instruction. Okay, but no, that shouldn't. Oh, well. Is that what it was doing? Yep, is stepping. Oh no, this is just at the end of the execution loop. So those are. I wonder if this will make a difference. I wonder if this particular item right here is something that needs to be in the 6309. Because we have been working on the 6309 before. I could have swore that at one point that run stuff worked, but let me. Okay, let's see. We are. Let's switch over to 6809. There we go. And we're going to do breakpoints. Oh, do a new breakpoint there and a new breakpoint there. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to go to our processor state. And then we're going to load our shit up because it's not like we haven't done it a fucking dozen times already in the last hour. All right, so we got that. All right, and we got a breakpoint. No, it doesn't work there either, huh? So yeah, same behavior though. But hey, working. You know, it's all right. So let's do this. Let's remove that. Run. Perfect. Run. So yes, it didn't do that. We'll stop that, and then we'll run. Okay. Well, working pretty good so far. So all right. So we got rid of all that stuff out of each one of the uh, CPU implementation. So hey, yay us. All right. Let's and I want to. All right. So we've got, and the VCC was kind of the. Okay, that gets rid of that. What is anything else in there? CPU state, yeah. Okay, that's good now. Awesome. And we've got that. Oh, perfect. Hopefully it won't crop up any bugs. But yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna have a chance to go and look at the issue with that run transition when we go for, when there's a when you're currently stopped at a breakpoint. I mean that's I'll have to dig into that, but hopefully some of these changes that I'm making right now will make that easier. So let's go back into here. There was a couple of other things that I needed that we really need to kind of crop down, make it easier. So this was one. Alrighty. Well, we need the CPU state. Um, and probably cache that, make it easier with an atomic. Hmm. All right, that's at least it's okay. So that's only used in one place, so that's fine. Let's check get processor state copy. Who's that? Is that the debugger also? No, that's the processor state. Hmm. And that is well in paint. Oh, so let's see if anybody is. Yep, there we go. And on the timer, that's just invalidating the rect. Okay. So what is the timer set to? Uh, 64 milliseconds. Is that? Yeah, let's actually take a look at that. Let's see. Okay, the elapsed time is in milliseconds. That's right. Been a long time since I've had to do anything with the Windows API. So, I mean, I remember when it was only 10,000 functions. I mean, shit, that was 20 years ago. It's just this big old behemoth of functionality. All right, so let's see. Get this processor. Hmm. Don't want to put it on the CPU because you want all of that to be kind of handled at that one spot. Bummer, man. Hmm. Do 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 do. All right, so that we can kind of not worry too much about. This one I'm not really too keen on this one. So let's take a look at how the or well, let's see the breakpoints is doing it. Check CPU. That happens on a timer. What is that timer? 250 milliseconds. Okay, so that gets updated 4 times a second. All right. So let's do this. So yeah, the cool thing though is that now that I've got uh, this setup so that the individual windows have to register with the debugger to get kind of like update events and all that. Some of them don't need it, but in like this case, um, when it halts, when the debugger halts the CPU, I mean that's when you get that halt state. Um, uh, you could certainly in effect send out an event that says, "Hey, it's halted," and then this kind of thing gets updated because it only updates the state when you're halted and it's and your PC is different. So what to do? What to do? Let's see. When is yeah? Well, we can't just do an invalid rec because it has like some logic to it. So guess we could fake a timer message. Wouldn't be the first time. Of course, if I do it in here, then it's a whole different ball game. Problem is, and this is why I would go back to here. in this particular section where we are changing the mode and this, I ought to do this. They had it before, doing, changing this, the control state here after we've done these updates. So maybe that's something I should probably, play around with here. Let's do that. Because I don't necessarily know that it matters right now. So in fact, let's do this. Let's register client. Okay, so this happens in the memory monitor and the MMU monitor. So these aren't like really critical things um, that happen because this is you got your update handler which just pulls the thing. And actually, this should probably no. See, this is the problem. This right here is actually copying a decent amount of memory here. This memory map. I think this is copying like 64K on every update. Um, so I'm not really sure that that necessarily needs to be done. Um, I can do I can actually get kind of tidy that up, but that's kind of a different issue because that is more of a an optimization really. I mean, that's just an optimization flow, but yeah, that can be made to be a little bit faster so that it only updates when it needs to. So we don't really need to do much with that. So I don't think that moving that up there is going to be a problem. And at the same time, it's actually going to kind of help us because uh, we know that our breakpoints have changed. We go ahead and we set that. Then we go through and um, you know process whatever pending commands are so that it updates state. And that shouldn't be a problem. This is all coming from the UI, so we kind of want to honor that first anyway. And then we do this update. Now, of course, this update is done after all of the execution, so it's kind of like the next round over when a lot of that takes effect. Um, so, and my only concern there is like with the MMU monitor and the memory map monitor, you get that few milliseconds of stale data. I mean, because it came from like the last one. So I don't know. Well, that's stuff that could be cleaned up, and of course, the changes that I'm making will actually make some of that a lot easier because you can just oh well this right here is the flow of the debugger. And this is really the form that everybody kind of has to flow through, and you don't have the same functionality scattered um, all in several different places. So that should help. So let's go ahead and we'll run a quick test on this. And my fucking music has stopped again, and it's fergalicious. I don't know what the fuck that means. Let's see. All right, so we've got our this is open and we're in mode. All right, so we've got processor state and breakpoints. I'm gonna have to add a hotkey for some of this, some function keys so that those can be added in. And we got new breakpoints, and we'll load our stuff in. All right, still working good. Let's see, and the MMU window. Run, nope, step run, run, step run. All right, and memory. Uh, I need to do a clear all breakpoints too. We'll run that, and yeah, that shouldn't be doing anything, but we can see all of this coming down here. I mean, yeah, that few milliseconds of lagging behind, man, if that's there, you're gonna notice it. Somebody's gonna notice it. Somebody will fucking be bitching about it. Ron, I'm looking at you. Ron Devo was like, why is VCC so crappy? I'm sitting there thinking, why the hell aren't you reporting bugs? Let's see here. I've got oh, where's your Kelly uploaded? Oh, it's Easy Directory version 2 stuff. Cool. let's see. First appeared in 3 issues of PGDM Digital Magazine. Well, PGDM, I don't recall that. With allowed you to select through easy to use menu with key repeat. Cool. And this version goes a step further. It lists the files, scrolls up and down rather than having to toggle from one page to another. That's cool. Yet the UI is as responsive as it was before. Cool. And yes, the ML code is kind of bloated. I understand, son. I understand. I'll have to check that out later. I got my Cocoa kind of out of storage. I had to check something, so I'll throw that up on my SDC and check that out. So that's in the Facebook group. Cool. Let's switch over here, back over to Fergalicious. All right, so and let's do this since I've had some problems. We're gonna go change the order of. All right. Yeah, the commit message was longer than the freaking change. So, all right. So we've actually made some progress. We got a lot of that logic that we wanted to get into the debugger. We've separated or broken some unnecessary dependencies. I mean, the debugger itself has really no idea about the Windows. It knows about the CPU because it needs to, for kind of the update. But that some of that could go away too. This whole get CPU state, that could go away. It just depends. Um, but yeah, anyway, so we've got the CPU state, we've got our control state here, and all that is nice and hunky-dory. Now, I don't know if I should go in and fix that bug or not. So, but we still want to get rid of that. And that kind of has to be gotten in real time. So, I mean, I don't really see much of a problem with I'm overthinking this. How long is this? That's like 200. That's like 4 times a second. Big fucking deal. All right, CPU and get this. So this is actually Digger. EMU state debugger. And EMU state debugger get PC. But there's that contention on there, so let's see. Well, if it's halted, we want to know the PC address. All right, so let's see. That's gonna, is that gonna be using that? Yeah, all right, you know what? That's a little bit better, but not, oops. What the hell was that? Here, let me, I forgot what the fuck I was doing with that. Let's see. That's why I like this. Oh, prior CPU alt address. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was checking the right thing. There we go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. All right. That's not much better, but I do want to do something with that though. All right, is stepping halt is halted. Uh, let's see, that's not. Okay, return PC equals um, processor state. That should allow us to get rid of that. And of course, we'll want to return true here. We wonder why I'm not doing that, because I'm about to do this. And you know what? I think we're going to do this. So for a couple of reasons, because if it's not halted, I'm not going to set the return PC. And if I try to access that PC, say like over here, oh, there, or down here, for any reason, it's going to throw an exception and quit. It's just going to blow up. And that's exactly what you want. Don't ever, 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 ever write code to compensate for a possible bug, ever. I mean, because especially if you're hiding it. I see this all the time. It's like I'll see a try and a catch, and the catch does absolutely nothing. Just absolutely nothing. Doesn't propagate the exception, doesn't handle it, doesn't do anything. Don't do that. So let's see what else we got here. My God, is it 4:46 already? So yeah, I got a message. I've actually got some time. So my commitment got kind of canceled tonight. So I might actually get a little bit of extra done. Well, actually, I didn't get canceled. It got moved. And actually, I should probably check my phone. Uh, wow, I got an alert from Twitter. Like I give a shit. That is like a bastion of stupid. All right, so all right. So that actually looks pretty good. So let's go over here and get rid of that. And let's go back over here and get rid of that. I don't know if I'll need like those same kind of variations for like something else because that seems to be like the only kind of place that it's working. But that gets rid of that. So I think next I might actually add an updater to the breakpoints so that when the new state is halted, that way I can check it there. And I can do like a state changed. I can send out a message like a like the so that's why I mean I've got this debugger. I've got these two functions. You can provide one two functions. That's gonna have to become an interface so that because there's going to be a couple of different functions for different situations because if like that if the control state changes you want to be able to update on that because that's going to be important. That's where you transition from like halt to run, run to halt, and so if you're going from run to halt it changes, you want to know, and then you can act on that event rather than having to pull for it at any particular interval. um, comes in real handy. So, and then of course you can always add in, other modes like for breakpoints. Um, you might have this check CPU state, like take a flag and to force like an update, um, so that you have an update like 4 times a second while it's running, and update as you're going along. They're kind of like uh, MAME does. MAME kind of follows the source execution. So that's why you need in addition to the supporting of the list files for setting breakpoints and all of that, you want a disassembler so when it goes into code that you don't have in your listing file, you can actually see it. It'd also be nice to kind of reference it, like if it comes from a different project. Like I could like in Kumiko, I could build some stuff that exists in a completely different binary. And when I build it, I export the list of symbols as an equate table so that I can import that into another assembly language file, so I know where all the addresses are, so I don't have to like bake it into my file. So if I have those in two separate files and I have two separate lists, list files, so I've got to be able to at least support those two different list files. Um, in order to get the full debugger. And in absence of those, like say I jump into the ROM like I've been doing in my examples, then at that point you want to have a disassembly of that. So I've got some stuff in there, but that requires some surgery, big surgery, to the breakpoints window, also into disassembling it. But the great thing is that a lot of that functionality and kind of stuff is already like built into things like GDB. So if I can get the GDB worked into that, then that client uh, you know uh, uh, communication going on, then you could control it from within Visual Studio. So and not have to worry about all of the updating that's happening. I mean, you could essentially get rid of all of the debugger windows and use just an external debugger. Um, Certainly great from a code management standpoint, for damn sure. I mean, you've got far less code to manage. All right, so we got rid of, let's see, control PC, added, oops, debugger halt. use new functions. All right. And that does it for that. So let's take a look again at this one. All right, so that's in the processor state. All right, so what is this doing in the way of updates? You know, we are not really getting any updates here. Shouldn't have any lock contention between the two threads, so we may have to get an update on this one. Hmm. And I actually should be able to change. Well, I might have to do a bind, but that should actually happen automatically. All right, let's but that's needed by other people too. All right, let's do this. Let's just give this a shot. Yeah, I gotta do, oh, wait a minute. Ah, it's on reset. That's, actually, you know what? I'm gonna do a couple of cleanup things here first. All right, so let's just go ahead and get rid of that. So where is this used? This is, yep, this is only used in the, wait. That should not exist anymore. Did I delete that? Yeah. All right. Oh, oh, you know what? Uh, yeah, just leave it as execution mode for right now. Since we are, nobody else is using that anymore, so that's good. Let's get rid of that. Alrighty. No reason to expose that. So these two gotta go out someplace else. Let's see, am I loading defines in here? No, but defines is loading me. So I can't put it in there or I get a cross dependency. Let's see, where else can I put that? Well, you got 68 or 9 defs. You got HD 6309 defs. I guess I could just add a CPU defs. Actually, you know what? I think I can add that as machine defs. Add new item. What do I want to call this? Let's just call this machine defs for right now. I can rename all this stuff later on. And so get rid of that. And let's see, what do we have in here? We've got array and optional, which do we have? No, we do have optional down there. All right, so don't think we need array in there. Probably don't need vector in there anymore either, I don't think. All right, array, optional. We do have vectors and stuff used. So include machine defs. That doesn't need that. Wow, really? Let's see, you know what? Let me do this. All right, for that. All right, that's fine. That's defined. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I know, blah, blah, blah. And we go to here and do the same thing. All right. And we got 6809 to do. Oops. Take care of that. Oh, the boring stuff. And I'm sure that I've missed a few of them. Oh, nope. Okay, debugger stepping. Nope. That's good. FMV monitor, that's wrong. And that should be it, don't you think? I missed one. I figured I would. Oh, missed a big one. Oh, right. Yeah, I did. I missed a big one. Now, let's see. Wait, do I have, am I returning any of those states? No. Okay, cool. Uh, oh, all right. We're on a mission. And we got that one. All right. Yeah. All right. That's awesome. All right. So we've got all of our key debugger functionality here. And then everybody's pretty much a client of it. Perfect. So, and actually I can change these. Just get rid of that. Halt, run, step. There we go. So that's all good. Yep. I might actually be done for the day. I'm gonna have to. Get PC never seemed to. Oh, that's fine. We got our define system because what I'd like to do is be able to replace this debugger with the one that you see now. I'd actually like to make that a plugin. That would be really awesome if I could make that a plugin. But it can't be dependent on like the CPU implementation or like any of that stuff. All of that's going to come to the debugger, which is, I mean, there's interfaces stuff that can be done for that. But but be able to replace it, have that as a kind of a plugin, I guess a program pack, and then one for GDB as well. Kind of be able to select, that debugger. But that's I doubt that's anything I'm ever going to get to. So let's, you know what? That's just bugging me. What is still using this? The MMU monitor. See, this doesn't make any sense because because RAM size is, I don't think there's any locks around that. Yeah, see, that's used in a lot of different places. Um, let's see. Actually, let's specifically at that. Oh no, it's used only in a couple of different places, but you see, those aren't. There is nothing to really. Nothing to really lock it there, so this doesn't really make any sense, but you know what? Let's do this. All right. There we go. I have a feeling that these values might be hanging around somewhere. Let's see. Yep, and the TCMMU. So let's see this. Let's see what's using this. RAM size. Okay. Well. All right. So we've got that taken care of. That's in the MMU monitor. That atomic type that I wrap this in will actually handle all of that locking between threads. So yeah, there's no problems there, so we can get rid of that. So let's go back over here to debugger, or no, that's in state. And this no longer makes any sense. I'm not actually sure that it did before. And we can get rid of that. Oh, that's because that was initializing and getting rid of it. Okay, so we don't need that anymore. Cool beans. Still don't like these there. I do these with something else, but that's a different story. All right, so what else can we clean up here? Okay, so we got the debugger. I don't think there's anything else, little minor things that we can change. Actually, we can change this to you know what? Probably need to go up here to reset. change that to run. Let's see, we've got section, doesn't matter. For pin, yeah, let's see, we'll get rid of this. Reset. Okay, breakpoints we want to keep. Processor state, that'll get updated. Although we might want to, actually we're going to set that to a default state, which probably doesn't make a damn bit of difference. But we're going to do it anyway. All right, so we've got all of that. You know what? Actually, reset the state of the debugger before everything else, and yeah. So of course I'll have to do some profiling just to make sure that everything is all hunky-dory. You know what? I think I'm going to have this candy bar. And yes, I know I'm aware that the our VCC as a whole does not do anything to trap exceptions. That's perfect. You'll still get an error and it'll still quit. Hmm. Okay. Well, not bad for like a dozen hours worth of work. A lot more work than I thought it was going to be. But so now I got to go through and do a shit ton of testing and we'll make sure everything is all right. Kind of make notes on that, and then compare it against the original release to make sure everything is all hunky dory. Of course, you know the run bug, you know that one. So that'll have to be fixed at some point. Of course, I may just toss that one back over to the original author. Let's see. Okay, we got the cross dependency on this, but I don't know that that is true anymore. I don't think. Oh, and of course my keyboard's got to start acting up. Oh, oh, because I'm dependent on the various CPU functions. Okay, that's cool. That I can deal with that later on. Do I need to have that anymore? I don't think I need that anymore. Nope, I don't. We've broken that one. All right, so the only one we got left is defines. Um, and actually, some of that I could probably move into like machine defs now. But we'll see. I don't want to go too far out of updating or making changes to the debugger. So it's like 238 lines. Oh, excuse me. All right, so get rid of enemy monitor, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. Don't really think I need anything in here anymore. Um, I'm tempted to drop those into the EMU state or the maybe even in the debugger. But there is stuff in there. I think all of the stuff is locked, and that is not something that you want to have, be locking. But at the same time, I don't know that there's going to be that much contention between everything that's going on, and it's not a hit on a CPU. So we'll see. I'll work that into some of the performance testing. So all right, that's done. Yeah, processor state is mostly just drawing. I mean, that's really what the And all that's drawing code and some, basic support stuff for the commands and all that. I'm just wondering if some of this even needs to be. I mean, we may get rid of the Q halt, Q run, and Q step, and just make it, halt, run, and step, and kind of work that in. So that would be a nice addition. But yeah, all of that is locked. So I mean, I don't expect that many contentions, so we're good there. But yeah, see this like EMU stay here, that this processor window, we can make this member here, member the processor state namespace, and of course this, and my music went off again, little bastards. All right, that way we've got that. Actually, almost all of this should be an anonymous namespace anyway. All right, let's see. Go to breakpoints. This is just going to be some general cleanup. Yeah, this might get changed around a little bit. Move some of the breakpoint management into the debugger itself, I guess. That would be a nice little thing. That way you could, yeah. A lot of possibilities, just not enough time to do everything that I would like to it. That's a problem. Let's see, memory map. Okay, so that's in a namespace. Okay, that's in a namespace. Oh, that's an anonymous namespace, and so is that. All right, that's some cool ass cleanup right there. Wow. And breakpoints, memory map. Oops. MMU monitor and processor state. Yes. And what else do we have? What do we do to this? This is just the, oh yeah, okay, that's part of that. And that's a good part of that. Let's go up here and change this. That's about it. What do we do with the debugger? Because that was a couple of extra changes. Nope, no, it wasn't. Oh yes, moved execution mode into oops. Yeah, we'll have to change that. And that is pretty much it, I think. Yep. Alrighty. Oh, that's right. Let's see where all that is used. Breakpoints. And I gotta address that today too. And that's config, defines, joystick memory map. ME monitor, that's pack interface. And that, yeah, we don't care about that. Get rid of all that crap. Oh, and this diff window and that diff window. Get my music back. Oh, more standard time's up next. Facebook just be hopping tonight. What the fuck is that kind of a cartridge? Ah, Super Score. Yeah, it's not even Coco. Oh yeah, that's for the Atari ST. It's a dongle. Probably a copy protection dongle. Oh, music sequencer, score printer. 40 polyphonic slaves. A dongle makes more sense now. Not really. All right, let's see. What do we do with that? Let's see. We got. All right, let me give that onto our last commit. That was go to here. There we go. A lot of tiny little changes. And we could probably consolidate, net back buffer. See, we got our little handlers here that, whenever the debugger updates down here, in these callbacks here, then it calls this update handler. Of course, here's the reset handler for it. Got to go through and make sure that each one of the windows has this stuff so that it resets properly. So yeah, it just grabs the memory, that 64K, from the CPU, and handles it. Of course, there is going to be some locking contention here. I guess. Of course, the memory map doesn't. I don't think does anything with the EMU stuff. In fact, I think I can actually get rid of. No, I can't get rid of that because that is EMU state, and that is register client, remove client, and or yeah, see that memory window. We could probably move that out of there. Set up a function in here that handles that. Um, Matter of fact, that might be my next set of minor updates that I'll do offline. But I think next I'm going to be investigating that run bug because that's pretty that's a problem. Um, you know what? Actually, let's take a look at. Oh, I got to build again, and I'm out of freaking candy bars, man. It's a disaster. Yeah, see, like right over here, we've got my diagnostic tools where I know how much memory I'm using and how much CPU is being used. It'd be nice to get something that I can get some real-time reports on certain functionality, like updates, so that I know that I can watch that kind of graph grow for a particular set of code, or shrink over time, and it'd be just really nice. So let's do this, and let's see. Let's open up all of these processor state. You. Let's get this over here. Let's take this someplace. Let's go to 3.8. Yeah, 3.8 should be, well, that's kind of wrong. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, 38, 39. Yeah, see, that's my code, but 38. Okay, there we go. Okay, there's that. Okay, I was looking at that. Okay, load of main, and then we've got our kind of stuff going on. It's not showing oh yeah, it is. It's got the cursor changing. You just can't see it. All right. So and now we need our debugger window, our breakpoint window, and we will load our listing file. And we'll do this, new breakpoint, new breakpoint. And we'll run it. Shrink down a little bit. All right. All right, so we got step run. Step. Oop, let's do this. Yeah, we're getting stuff on the screen like we expecting to. All right, but we still don't have that run. Okay, so I'm gonna have to check that out again on the main thing. Okay, let's get rid of this breakpoint. Oops. Remove and run. All right, and we run again. Oh, step and then run. All right, so then we check back over here with this menu, and we see there a little updating over there at the end. Okay, cool. And let's make sure that this is happening over here in our other window. Yep, 51F. Oh wow, I can't like just pan. I have to, or smooth scroll. I have to page. I can only page up and down. Okay, that's fine. Um, so in the but the processor. Okay, yeah, it is updating. It's just not doing anything special because it's just updating that. Okay. Um, awesome. So let's do this. All right, and we got reset everything. Let's do this. Oops. What? Oh, 0. We don't need that. Oops. Ah, fucker. All right, and of course our map switches over to this, which is fine. Yeah, 30123. That's mapped in for the high-res screen, and then you've got disk basic and then super extended color basic, or basic, disk basic, and then extended color basic. Okay, so plenty of room. All right, so everything seems to be working just fine, like it did before. Um, happy with the changes, I guess. But now I get to start integrating some of the uh, profiling stuff, which should be really fun. Because that'll be a lot more data coming into the Windows. So, but that one's going to be another thing. I need to go through and kind of condense all my changes down and Git, and then get some get somebody to anybody to go through and review the changes and test it and all of that. So I don't know. I guess Bill or whoever over in VCC land, those guys will certainly have to. Kind of do stuff. And who was it, Roger? What was the guy's name? Uh, it confuses me a little bit because it is got a real similar name to somebody else that I know. All right, Mike Rojas. Okay, Mike Rojas. Nice guy. I like his work. But it's time to expand. But anyway, I think that's going to be enough for me today. I've got some other things that I'm going to go and try to get done. That way, if I get those done, I might have a little bit of time uh, tomorrow evening to do some stuff. So we'll see. But I think that for right now, I'm going to get the fuck on out of here because I am hungry and it's dinner time, and I'm going to go make some dinner. So anyway, have a fun week and check back later. Bye bye.